Let's go. Are we actually on? You're here listening with Kayla
and Georgia,
bringing you real, raw and relatable chats on the Evolve to Thrive podcast.
Stay tuned because shit's about to get juicy as we dive into all things health, fitness, life and relationships.
Let's go. Woo. Yeah, so before we get into it, we do just want to start with an important disclaimer. This conversation is purely intended to share our own personal experience and challenges with food. It's not intended to take the place of medical advice or treatment from your personal physician. The opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the individual, and in no way should this be taken as medical advice. This episode may be triggering. If you think you may be encountering patterns of disordered eating, binge eating, or you have felt triggered in some way, please seek further professional support via the Butterfly Foundation website or the www.eatingdisorders.org.au. On today's episode, we have the amazing Sarah Malkoun, aka Living Well with Says, joining us on the pod. We have invited Sarah on today because we find her to be such an empowering and inspirational mum. So today we discuss the ins and outs of her fat loss journey, juggling life as a busy mum, the mistakes that she's made along the way, and how she has overcome the emotional hardship of restrictive fad diets, binge eating, and a poor relationship with food. Sarah is your number one hype girl online who supports other women, other coaches in the health and fitness space, and ultimately preaches a well-balanced approach to health and nutrition. See you later to the weight loss focus goals and yo-yo dieting. This woman, I should say, has not only transformed her own life for the better, but continues to empower and motivate other women to transform their lives too. So we hope this episode brings you value and encourages you to do the same. Without further ado, let's bring her in, Miss Sarah.
Hello, everybody. What an intro. Thank you for having me on.
She's so good at doing those intros. I've claimed the spot of the intro.
Yeah, you have.
Co-host now.
Again, I fuck it up twice and I've been cut.
She's going to exit the pod now. We better balance it out.
Like I said before, we start each episode with a craving or a tip of the week. So have you got a food that you've been craving for the week, or any advice or a tip for the listeners?
All right. So I today tried the new Cadbury caramel slices and it was amazing. And just the tip of the week with that is, if you do try it, you're not going to put it down. So be prepared. You're going to be eating a whole block of chocolate. It was unreal.
Oh, yeah. Did you eat the whole block of chocolate?
I sure did.
Did you? Yeah. Oh my goodness. It's caramel with like Oreo biscuit, isn't it?
It's got biscuit pieces, vanilla and caramel through the caramel chocolate.
And it's a chocolate.
It is a chocolate. It's a block of chocolate from Cadbury. It's a new range that's just come out.
Oof.
And yeah, it was amazing. I'm dreaming about it.
I've seen Nick Vivitas post a lot about it.
Nick posted about it. And yeah, he was spot on with that one.
Oh goodness, he has the best not impersonations, but like just the way he talks about food.
Yeah, he loves it, doesn't he? He gets it all over his face. Yeah, he's very visual and verbal. Yeah,
and his eyes like this.
Yeah,
I love it.
Give him a shout out. He's pretty cool.
All right, go, Georgia. Now, is yours going to be food today?
No, mine is going to be. I was going to say sauna before, but I think I've been really into podcasts at the moment, just like listening to different self-help podcasts.
Yep.
And I've been listening to, this is what I was saying to you before, Open House.
Because last week you recommended She's on the Money.
Yes.
That's one of my favourite podcasts.
Oh, how good is it?
I love Victoria Devine. Yes.
Oh my God, she's
amazing.
So good.
She's so good.
So good. So I've been, anything that's got to do with self-development at the moment with podcasts, it's all me. But it's, Open House. She's a therapist and she basically just talks about relationships with yourself, relationships with people, and just like identifying toxic behaviors in yourself and in relationships. So
we need to hunt her down and get her on this podcast.
Well, she's based in the UK, so maybe probably we won't. Actually, we could get her on the Zoomsies. Get on the Zoomsies. But no,
that's your recommendation.
Yeah, Open House podcast. Listen to it.
Okay. And then this is because you, my friend, is something going on in your life that you need to have a bit of personal development?
I think I'm just on a personal development journey, self-healing journey. So anything to do with self-healing, I'm all for it.
I know we are definitely going to be doing a relationship podcast soon. So stay tuned, people, because our relationship episode is coming back. So we're on a detour, but back to this one. All right. Should we get into it? Or do you want
because you're going to tell us your craving or tip of the week before we move on.
I was having a conversation with one of my clients who also was going through a breakup. And our phone call consultation involved me telling her that she needed to take herself out on a date. And then I recommended the Mind Body app because on there you can literally filter it to any kind of self-care service you want to do. So whether that is going for a sauna, a massage, yoga, Pilates,
Mind Body
or group
app.
fitness. Yeah, the Mind Body app. So you literally download the Mind Body app, you filter your location and what you would like to do, and it includes like facials and all that too.
Sick.
Massages, and you can take yourself out on a personal date, a pamper, and do it.
I think that's exactly what I'll be doing this weekend.
Literally do it. It is my recommendation. Download the Mind Body app.
Amazing.
Awesome.
That's what I'll be doing.
Yeah. But all right, are we ready to get into the episode?
Let's get into
Let's
it.
do it.
All right. So Sarah, tell us about yourself and how would your friends describe you in 3 words?
I don't know where to start. I am a mum. I have 2 little boys who are now 5 and 7. My life is not overly exciting. I'm just kind of like your typical suburban mum.
Suburby girl.
Relatable.
Very, very relatable. Totally kind of normal. I think my friends were very happy, loud, good mum, just like really into like loving life and trying to like make the best life that possibly can, being a good friend, being a good wife, being a good kind of everything all around kind of person. So
Being a good person.
just being a good person.
I feel I get very good energy or very good vibes from you. So I feel like you would.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think energy is probably a big thing for me.
Yeah.
You can feel the energy in the room when someone's like,
100%.
yeah.
You
or
are-
someone's on the opposite spectrum. I
You are
think.
the number 1 hype girl. That's what we call you today.
Thank you, guys. That's awesome. It's really nice.
So how would you describe yourself, or you just described yourself in
I
3
guess so,
words?
in a way,
I guess you actually did describe yourself and how your friends described
Yeah.
you.
Or probably the same way other people would describe me, I guess.
What 3 words would they use, do you reckon?
My friends?
Yeah.
Probably quite self-aware,
Yep.
very chatty,
Yep.
and just like really smiley.
Yeah.
Like, not in
Happy.
a creepy way, but just like
Creepy
smiling
little
at people
smiley.
from the
What's going
corner.
on?
Yeah. Just kind of all around kind of happy person. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Love
see
it.
that. We
Yeah.
definitely see that.
What do you think your best quality or trait is?
Besides being a mum.
Besides being a mum?
Yeah, because
Because that's the best quality.
I think I'm a lot of things, but I'm a mum first.
Yeah.
So
First priority.
Yeah, absolutely. It's my first priority. And I say this a lot to people. Your kids come first, but you don't come last.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
I love that.
yeah, I don't, because a lot of people mums do have to sacrifice a lot.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of mums forget that they're also a person who is worthy of self-love and
Definitely.
everything else that everyone is kind of worthy of. So, yeah, I think that's probably, I'd say that is probably one of my best qualities, is like lifting other people up and making sure that they know how important they are, because people forget who they are when they become a parent.
100%. I'm seeing a lot of women too online that have had kids that when people ask them what's your biggest priority and they've got kids, they always say kids are their second priority, but their health and their health and their mindset is their first priority. Then
love
their kid,
that.
yeah, because it's
Yeah.
like you would forget who you are and everything else becomes before you. So you kind of lose
Absolutely.
yourself a little bit.
Especially when they're really little.
Yeah.
And they really need you. You really have to put yourself to the side. So
They're so dependent
they're
on,
so
on
dependent
you for
on
everything.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't get a second to think to yourself, whether it's a school meeting or they've got some sport tonight or footy or swimming or they're not happy with what you've made for dinner and you pretend you're going to let them starve, but really you're going to cook them something else.
Yeah.
You're not going to send them to bed hungry. It just doesn't kind of
I
stop.
God, I wish
So
my parents did that. I'm not sent to bed. I'm not sent
it's
to
a
bed
different
starving.
time now.
I'm smacking into bed.
Yeah, we can't do that anymore.
No, can't be doing that.
Not imagine.
Yes.
No, I love that. I definitely see this in your nature as how you show up online, especially on your social media, like, because you are always, you know, giving people that positive vibe and that reinforcement that they're doing a great job at whatever they're doing. And I love that about you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, it's important to lift people up.
Absolutely. So let's move on to health and your approach and your perspective on health. What does health mean to you?
So I think health is having a balance in all aspects of life. So I know health, when we think of health traditionally, it's very centered on, you know, eating well and exercise. And that is obviously a very big part of health. But I think health really needs to be extended to every kind of bit of life. So like your social health, your financial health, your mental health, all aspects of your health.
Emotional.
You know, yeah, absolutely. The people you associate with. That has a huge toll and a huge effect on your life. And that is a huge part of health, you know. If you're around people who are constantly bringing you down or, you know, that just generally make you feel crappy kind of about yourself, or they're constantly negative, just not seeing anything in a positive light, that's going to bring you down. And in turn, that's going to bring your whole kind of demeanor down. And that's crappy health in itself. So balance, kind of, you know, surround yourself with good people. Eat good food most of the time, you know.
Don't eat a block of hedge chocolate.
Maybe not every day. Just every now and then. You know, just, you know, get lots of movement in, clear your mind, do whatever it is that you need to do to kind of disconnect from the world and feel good about yourself, even if it's only 10 minutes a day.
100%.
That's health to me, you know, and just like looking after yourself in kind of every form, not just physically.
Especially when you are a mum showing up for, you know, other people, it's like you do forget to take that moment for yourself.
Yeah.
And you mentioned headspace and mindfulness.
Absolutely.
Like if you're not taking that time to disconnect, as you say, from the world, like that almost puts you in the shit mood too.
Absolutely.
And then if
it's
you're
so easy to get caught up in everyday shit that's going on.
And when you're surrounded by negativity, you also become more negative,
that's
right?
So surround yourself with instead of surrounding yourself, I reckon even just remove people from your life that you don't want to turn into.
Yeah,
sort of
yeah,
thing.
for sure.
So if someone is constantly negative and bringing you down and not adding value to your life in any kind of way, just remove them.
Yeah.
You don't owe anyone anything, whether it's family, friends or whatever.
Yep.
You don't owe them anything.
It's okay to be selfish.
Absolutely. Yeah. Being selfish is kind of selfless in a way. So self-care is not selfish either.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, it's important.
And I think a lot more people are now focusing on that, which is good to see. People are becoming more selfish with their time, with who they're surrounding themselves with. So I think it's,
Absolutely. I know, you know, I went through a stage where I was really scared to just say no to people. Yeah. And I'm really past that now. And as you get older, you know, and you get a little bit braver, you just stop caring. You're just like, no, my time is precious. If I don't want to be there, I'm not going to be there sort of thing. So, you know, saying no. Learn to say no.
Say no.
Put your foot down.
Tip of the week.
Say no to the third block of chocolate and say no to the events you don't want to be a part of. You know?
It's you don't need the family size. You only need a row. We'll see. Let's go right back to the start of your health journey. How did it start, and what got you into health and fitness?
So I've basically battled a variety of different kind of disordered eating behaviors and body image issues basically my whole life. So it probably started around the age of 10 or 11. And I, you know, became really aware of, you know, loosely I want to say this, being fat. It was kind of, this is going back to the 90s, was kind of really like a big thing. You know, all the magazine covers had, you know, how to get, you know, flat abs and how to be skinny real quick in 90 days. And it was just, you know, we glorified people like, you know, 2002 circa Paris Hilton. You know, that's kind of what we were brought up to see. You know, I would do things like I would smoke instead of eat. It wasn't a good time.
Stunning.
I know. Especially as a teenager.
Smoking is not even a thing these days.
Not at all. You don't see teenagers walking around lighting up. But
it's
that's all
vaping.
you see when I was
you see
growing up.
vaping, which is just as bad.
I haven't tried that. So funnily enough, I know. So it's kind of started from there, but obviously that wasn't really a health and fitness journey. That was more a try and get skinny quick. So I did every fad diet, you know, every fad diet possible. I'd go up and down in weight over the years. It kind of just occupied my mind. And it wasn't until recently, only in the last few years, where I would think to myself, you know, I'd be in a shopping centre and I'd just see people just walking around living their daily lives. And I think to myself, these people probably don't sit there all day thinking I've gained weight or I've lost weight.
Or thinking of food.
How do I look? Or thinking of, you know, can I have extra calories today or whatever it might be. Regular people do not actually think like this. And I've thought like this my whole life. Like for me, this is normal. Like I've never thought I just get up in the morning, get dressed and leave the house. It's always been like, I'll stand in front of the mirror and pull myself apart, be like, why do I have these extra love handles? Why do I have so much cellulite? And, you know, the things a lot of us do.
Where do you think, like, other than like the magazine stuff, where do you think that kind of
started?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was brought up in a household where my mum was always dieting, which I think is common for a lot of mums for women my age back then, back in, you know, mid-90s. And my dad also was very big on, you know, he's from a different culture, and he was very big on women need to look after themselves. Don't ever like let yourself go. Oh, you know, yeah. So from that mentality, which you can't change now, you know, he's in his mid-70s. That's just how he thinks. He's always thought like that, and is what it is. But that's how I was raised. So it was very, you know, always look presentable, even if you feel like shit, you know, don't eat that, don't do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you can see how that has definitely triggered certain behaviors as you've grown up, for sure.
So, you know, and then I would, you know, I got into my 20s and I would do crazy things. So I was working full time as a mediator for the children's court, and I would do things like not eat for like a week straight, and I wouldn't eat a thing.
What do you mean?
Like,
what do you mean
nothing? I would not put a thing in my mouth for say a week, and
wait.
We'd have like work lunches.
So how do you?
I would live on like coffee, diet soft drinks, water.
So there wouldn't be a single ounce of food.
Nothing.
How do you actually?
You just. Yeah.
Okay.
Have you heard of like those 10-day fasts and stuff? They weren't even a thing back then. I would just stop eating.
You just discovered it.
Yeah.
For yourself?
I was a creator.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
It was crazy.
How old were you at that time?
Probably early 20s.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how did you feel through that time?
Do you know what? By the third or fourth day, I'd have so much energy, and I think it was the caffeine. Probably. I was just buzzing all the time.
Yeah.
And then one day I just passed out.
Yeah. Well, that was going to be my next question.
What made you do that though?
I just wanted to get thin as quickly as possible.
Yeah. And you were led to believe that
if you don't eat, you lose weight.
Yeah. Don't eat, and that's the answer to weight loss.
Isn't that crazy?
Like that was absolutely. Education is so important,
oh
isn't it?
My goodness.
Out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that started a different type of behavior, I think.
Did you have anyone around you that was questioning what you're doing?
Not really. So, for
was
example,
it discreet though?
Yeah, it was discreet.
Yeah,
so like people would be like, oh, you know, how was your day? I'm like, yeah, really good. And I wouldn't talk about food. I wouldn't focus on it. Or we'd have like a work lunch. We'd all be going out to a restaurant. I'd be like, I'm so sorry, guys. I've got plans with my friends. I'll come to the next one. And I'd kind of just walk around the city trying to get as many steps in as I could.
Would you almost lie?
Yeah, I would always lie.
Just so that people wouldn't ask questions.
Correct. Or I'd come back from like a walk and people were like, oh, what'd you have for lunch? I'd just be like, oh, I just had sushi order, but I hadn't eaten. Yeah, so I'd just lie. And I'd smoke instead of eat.
Wow.
Yeah, lived on like coffee with like a drop of skim milk, lots and lots of like Diet Coke, which was the big thing back then. It's now Pepsi Max. Yeah.
So was that one episode that you did?
No, I did that a lot.
Oh, okay. So you would go for like 10 days without food, and then you would eat?
I'd go for like a week, and then if I got really, really hungry, I would try and like curb it with like chewies or sugar-free mints.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, you know, that kind of stuff. Light jelly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am noticing that now.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, how can I just wait this little bit longer till I eat?
Isn't it? And then I got into this stage where I have not shared this, I don't think, before. I would drink the sugar-free maple syrup. You know, the Steve sugar-free maple syrup.
Oh my God. It's like a push pot.
Drink it.
I would drink it. Like I'd buy it by the box load from Woolies, and I would drink it, and it would just give me the runs. I was like, yes, I'm going to lose more weight because I'm like, I've got the shits. It was just like a fucked up way to live, wasn't it? Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming you've done like the skinny.
I've done it all. I used to model for Light and Easy. I've done it all.
Do you remember Skinny Me Tea?
Yes, I've done the Skinny Me tea.
Yeah.
It's basically just like a laxative in a tea.
100%.
Yeah, exactly.
As soon as you have it, see you later for 3 days.
There was this other stuff I bought once. It was like unicorn water, and it was meant to like help your metabolism go as fast as possible without you having to change your diet or exercise. I don't think it did anything, but it tasted all right compared to like Skinny tea. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because
like
Skinny Me tea wasn't nice.
$150 or something back then. I was like, I don't care. I'll get it if it make me lose weight.
What a rip-off. What a rip-off.
Oh my God.
I think it was literally just flavoured water. Like,
oh, wow.
What things we've done.
What else? Tell us more about these crazy things that you've done.
I would go through like different periods of different things. So I've done all the fad diets, all the shakes, all the like slim fast bars, Light and Easy, Weight Watchers, the points program, all the like I don't know, have you guys heard of the cabbage soup?
I have actually, yeah.
I cannot even think of it.
Or just those types of like just eat this particular food for a week, like a detox of something.
The cabbage soup diet was created for people who were like morbidly obese and needing to have like basically emergency heart surgery. So doctors would prescribe this diet for them to help them lose 5 to 7 kilos in a week. Right?
5 to 7 kilos in a week.
Apparently, which we all know now with education that a lot of that is just water weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think for people with like, you know, heart disease and are morbidly obese, where a doctor is recommending this, it's probably, you know, doctor's recommendation will step away from, but for regular people, I don't think it was recommended.
Yeah.
So I got the recipe and I'd made this soup. And what happens is I think it's the first 3 or 4 days you can only eat this soup, right? And it was just vegetable soup pretty much.
Yeah.
It was fine. It's fine if you just eat it like a normal person, but this was all I was eating.
Yeah.
And I think I got to the 4th day where you're allowed like 6 tomatoes as well or something stupid. Or
and
like
you count them, of course.
Or something, yeah, of course. I was like, what size tomatoes? I don't want to get them too big in case it's too many tomatoes.
Just 4 cherry tomatoes and that's it.
Exactly. And I remember just thinking, I cannot look at this soup again. Like, I would look at it from the corner of my eye, like I wanted to like throw up on it. I was like, I'm going to get through this diet.
Do you think of cabbage now and just go, ugh?
Yeah. I think of that soup. I remember it in my giant pot because it would make like 10 days worth of food, right? In this pot on the stove. And you have to just keep reheating it to eat it. It was just
putrid.
disgusting.
The most bland of bland.
I know, but it wasn't like if you just served it up and just been like, oh, here's a bowl of soup for like winter lunch. It'd be like fine. But because you were eating it every day, I was like, and I haven't done this for years, I still cannot even think of that soup. I feel physically unwell just talking about it.
So how many, you'd have like what, 3 or 4 cups of that a day?
I'd have, just you could have as many bowls of it as you wanted a day. And because it was all veggies and actually quite nutritious, like it's just like a soup that's full of really good things for you. Just give you the shits as well because it's full of fibre.
Yeah.
So all you did on all these diets was just shit your pants.
It was going in and out. As fast as it was coming in, it was going out.
And I reckon that's where all the weight loss came from. So, yeah. So, the things we've done. But
do you think that all of those experiences that you've had has affected your like relationship with food today?
I think I'm good now, but it's taken me a really long time to get here.
Yeah.
A really, really long time. And I can honestly say I reckon I've only been this good in the last 12 months.
Really?
Yeah. So it's the first 35 years of my life were not great with food, but I can honestly say now, like if I want something, I'll eat it.
Yeah.
I will not restrict. I haven't counted like calories or done any kind of that sort of lifestyle probably since around March now, so it's probably been a good 6 months.
Do you feel like you improved once you stopped tracking?
Yeah, I had to step back though.
Yeah.
So I reckon tracking is a great source because it teaches you a lot about what kind of like the macronutrients and stuff in your food and how nutrition works. And it teaches you about like
what you're
also
consuming.
like having that balance because a lot of people are too scared to say have like a piece of chocolate. They think I'm going to gain all this weight without realizing, no, you can kind of fit something fun into your life every day within moderation. If it fits in your calories and you're on some sort of plan, you can do it.
Yeah.
But it's not a forever way to live as well.
Absolutely not.
You can't do it forever.
No.
You just cannot. And I did it for years. I would just track my calories day in, day out, day in, day out, weigh everything to the gram. And
it comes like, it's like that time where you're rigid versus that time where you need to move away from it.
Absolutely.
But again, it's kind of like using it as the tool for the right reasons, whereas a lot of people use it for the wrong reasons.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it's like if you're guided in the right direction with food tracking, it's not the end of the world. But if you're noticing like you can't not track your food and you're so boxed into I need to track every single thing that goes into my mouth and you can't deviate from that.
Absolutely.
That's when it's a problem.
Absolutely.
But if you're using it to go, okay, I can go out for a meal and not track it, it's not the end of the world.
Correct.
You know, and use it as, okay, I'm tracking this to learn
Absolutely
the nutrients in my food, which is,
And if you've tracked for long enough, I think you kind of have a good understanding of, you know, your portion sizes and what's in your food. And you can kind of do it without tracking quite well, especially at a maintenance stage.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
That's the goal, right?
Absolutely. Living without kind of any restrictions. And calorie counting is great because it does teach you that you can kind of include everything in your diet, but at the same time, it's still a restrictive way to live because once you've reached a certain amount of calories, you're too scared to go over them. And, you know, so that's kind of, I think a lot of binge eating disorders develop from that restrictive behavior.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I even noticed myself with like, not that I've got an eating disorder, but coming at off the back of prep.
Yes.
Like there's tendencies that I'm doing that I was even telling Kayla about. I'm like, there's things that I'm doing where I feel so out of control that I cannot get my eating under control.
You just can't regulate again.
I can't regulate.
That's restricted for so long.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. And it's like last week I went out for dinner to have pizza, and then on my way to get pizza, I thought I'd stop and get some yochi just because I felt like yochi.
Yeah.
And then we had ice cream after the pizza.
And
then I had
going.
this, and then I had this, and then I had that. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, I know I shouldn't be eating this, but I just like, I feel like I need it. I feel like I'm addicted to food.
You almost like your body's like, no, you've got to give me this because you might take it away again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The feeling of like, it's not just a little craving or like, you know when women get, you get your period and you have those little cravings.
Yes.
It's not like that. It's like so intense.
It's out of control.
That you cannot say no.
You cannot say no. And that's how a lot of binge eating behavior starts, I reckon.
Yeah.
As well.
So I'm trying my best to get this under control.
And it's very common after a period of comp prep because comp prep is extremely restrictive as well. Yeah. But it is also just a period of time and then it's kind of done and then, you know.
I can already feel myself, like my hormones and my
everything balancing out.
My body's regulating again, but
it does take time.
It's more of like a mental thing because it's like
I can finally eat again.
Not even that, but just like when you've had all this food that you've eaten and then you know you shouldn't have eaten it, the self-talk that you have, and it's just like, why the fuck did you eat that? You shouldn't have done that. Now you feel big. Now you feel bloated. And it's a constant cycle.
And then the next morning you just feel horrible.
Like, and then you weigh yourself.
Oh yeah.
And you're 10 kilos heavy. You're like, what?
Yeah, I know. And
start the process again.
Mentally that it's not fat gain, but like you cannot help but think, oh my God, the scale's gone up.
Yeah.
So that's another thing I had to stop doing was stop weighing myself.
Yes.
I weighed myself in a long time as well.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about this with you too. I think I want to go back to, there's so much we could talk about.
Oh, absolutely.
Two important things I think that come to my mind when it comes to you and the previous kind of behaviors that you had with your relationship with food and in your body. So first one being the restriction that you had. Do you feel like that led to, so you obviously you had trouble with the scale. So you had to cut that out.
Absolutely. But it took me a very long time to get to that point.
Yeah. And the binge eating is something else I wanted to mention. So you obviously had the restriction, but then that lapsed into binge eating cycles as well.
So I'd go through binge restrict on repeat for ages.
Yep. How long were the gaps of this?
It depended what diet I was on at the time. So I will never forget my very first binge. I was probably 16 or 17. I was doing the Weight Watchers diet. I'd stolen it off my mum. She was doing it at the time. And my best friend and I at the time in high school had photocopied it. And we were just tracking our points, which is what it was back then. So same kind of thing as calories. This is what it was, the old point system. And then she called me one night. So basically all foods have a point allocated to them, a certain amount of points, and you can only have a certain amount of points per day. So same thing as calories, but referred to as points.
How unhealthy is teaching people that?
I know. So and my mum did really well on it. She lost like 20 kilos, but she needed to.
Yeah.
She actually needed to.
No, this reminds me, my girlfriend did the same. Like I was in high school and the exact same thing. Her stepmom was doing some ridiculous restrictive diet and she decided she was going to do it too. And the thing about these diets would be you would eat you could literally only eat about 5 types of food.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was like 5 types of food, nothing else. Just this, and this, nothing else.
That's right.
And it would be like just, celery, an egg, or like
boiled egg,
carrots.
Oh,
like
no wonder people blow out and just like have end up getting eating disorders from eating like that.
But then it's also why like particular people I notice that I work with, like particularly older generations, they are still in that mindset.
Absolutely. And you can't change it.
Because it's all that they've ever known. Like we younger generations have been educated that this is not okay. But like to the general population who are older, this is the norm for them. Yeah. Like it's a lot of undoing and teaching and breaking bad cycles to overcome that. But talk to me about this thing that you did when you were 16 and recap on this point system, please.
Yeah. So basically what it meant was every food had a certain amount of points allocated to it and you were allowed to have a certain amount of points per day, depending on like your weight and height or something, I think it was. This was like pre-internet computer.
TDEE.
Yeah. So it was just like on like in like a book and you'd mark your points off with like a pencil. Yeah.
Far out.
Crazy. And I remember.
Can you remember what like a carrot was worth? As a point?
I do remember like.
What was a celery stick worth?
I remember living on sushi for a long time.
Well, that's not bad.
It wasn't too bad.
Not too bad.
Far out.
Yeah. And I remember that one night my best friend called me up on the house phone because I don't think we even had mobiles then. And she was like, hey, I just can't do this anymore tonight. Can we just eat whatever we want and start again tomorrow? And I was like, yes, we can.
I just got giddy thinking of that.
I was so excited. I was like, this is like the sexiest thing.
This is triggering. This is
triggering.
This is literally triggering me.
Yes, absolutely. Me too. I was like, what is this feeling? And then I remember just like cleaning out the pantry at home and like the fridge was just like gobbling
What
food
were you
like a
eating?
psycho.
What did you have?
Oh, what did we have in the house?
Anything and anything.
'Cause I lived at home then. Obviously, I was in high school. Oh, everything, like rolls of bread.
Rolls of bread.
Yeah.
So
like
it
bags
wasn't
of chips.
So it was more savoury.
Yeah, it was just like whatever was in the pantry at the time. I remember, and we didn't live far from Woolies. I reckon I went for a walk to Woolies because obviously I didn't have a license, and I think I like bought like Willy Wonka chocolate bars. I don't even know if they're still around. Like they were like these purple.
You end up eating you end up eating things that you wouldn't even actually eat.
I know. I'm just like I'm having that because I can.
Because you can. Yeah.
You can have it anytime though.
And it's not going anywhere.
I think that exactly. You can have it tomorrow. Like it's not a big deal.
I remember doing the same with my girlfriend, but we like would during the week of school be like so rigid with what we were having, and it would get to the weekend we'd have like our little sleepovers.
Yes.
And we'd have like a movie night, and then we would get like sour worms and like chocolate cake and like just all this.
Eat the whole mud cake.
It was fucked what we actually got, and she like had a full sugar addiction that we had all of these like sour worms and any kind of lollies that you could think of,
how fun,
and chocolate, like the Marvelous Creations and stuff, and just devour that whole block with the lollies and then with popcorn and Maltesers and pods, and just it was fucked. And then you'd eat it
with a capital F,
and you would feel so sick and bloated, and it was horrific. Horrific.
Yeah. It's the worst feeling, and then you just I feel like mentally the next day it's worse. Well, for me it's always mentally worse.
It's
like a food hangover.
Because physically you feel shit out. You're bloated. You're just like you're still full. You're heavy, and then you're like, why did I do that to myself?
And you just feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like as in you just feel like everything's moving around in there and you can't digest, and
it takes you like 3 days to get over it.
I was going to say you can't like take a proper poo.
Everything just feels gross. You just feel yuck.
You're backed up. You're backed up.
From all the crap you've just fed yourself.
Literally.
It's well, talk to us then about how this has kind of eventuated to where you're at now. Like, let's talk about the whole yo-yo dieting, binging, restriction, and when did it pivot for you? Like, when did you wake up and go, this is not okay, what
I
I'm
need
doing?
to change.
Like, when was the pivotal moment for you to be like, nah, I've got to make a change, this is fucked, I can't keep doing this?
So about 12 months ago, we went to Bali after my brother-in-law's wedding, ourselves and our best mates with their kids, and I remember just getting up and thinking, I can't keep being hungry anymore. I was just hungry all the time, and I was extra hungry because I wanted to fit into this really tight dress for my brother-in-law's wedding, which I fit into, and I was so proud on the day.
I bet
I'm getting back into that thing. I'm getting back into that for a long time. But I remember just waking up and I was like, I'm on holidays, and all I can think about is
food.
I'm fat, I'm hungry, I don't want to wear a bikini in front of my girlfriend who also has an eating disorder. Like, I was just like, I cannot keep doing this. I just want to enjoy myself. And then, like you were saying before, I really enjoyed myself. Like, it would start with, no, you know what, I'm just going to be a bit better. And it would just go downhill. And I thought, you've got to stop doing this. You've got to stop torturing yourself. And because obviously you're in another country and none of the labels make sense, and I'm like nutrition label obsessed.
At that time you were?
Yeah, I was, And I would like look at it, I'm like, how does that mean calories per serve, or is that like per the container? And I'd get my girlfriend try and work it out, and then I was like, I'm just not going to eat it. And I was like, you got to stop doing this. Like, you're in another country, you're on holidays with your best mates. No one gives a fuck what you look like. Just go have some fun.
And you'll look back in 10 years' time and go, that moment didn't matter.
Did not
Do you find
matter.
that like that affected some of your relationships?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And till now, like, I'll still say things to my husband like, do you think I'm fat? And he's like, no. But because he doesn't have the same mindset as me, he's just looking at me, he's like, you're just like a normal person. Like, why
he
are you
doesn't
so
care about it.
obsessed with this? Yeah, he's like, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't really care. Even if you were fat, he probably wouldn't even notice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he wouldn't be like, oh, she got fat. Like, he'd be like, whatever. Like, I'd be like, if I gain weight, he'd be like, yeah, maybe a bit, but it'll be like a nothing thing.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I'd be like, oh my God, this is the worst thing in the whole world. What is
she's
happening?
well fed.
Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah, he'd be like, you're a good cook. Who cares? So
We stress so much about this though.
But I think it's the way society's put that on women as a whole. Not even just recently, but like I feel like that's been,
that pressure.
Absolutely.
That's been on women for ages to look a certain way, to like
behave a
act
certain
a certain
way,
way,
dress a certain way. You know, I remember my dad saying to me, it doesn't matter how you feel, you need to look good because you're a woman. women need to look good. Like, you need to look good, you need to behave good, like, you're a woman, that's how
And
it
he
is.
told you that?
Yeah, he would say it to me all the time.
Really?
Yeah, growing up. So I grew up thinking, okay, well, I'm a woman, I need to look good and behave a certain way, and, you know.
It was instilled in you.
It was just, how we were brought up. So.
And then, of course, like with your parents, with your mum being on like Weight Watchers and all of that.
Yeah,
like,
she did like the grapefruit diet once when I was a kid. I'll
God,
never
you
forget it,
literally
because she
grew
like
up
went
around
out and
all of
like
it.
bought like 5 kilos of grapefruits. And it's like all she could eat for like a week or something. It was just like
grapefruit juice.
I think she would like juice them and like cut them up and eat them.
back when juice cleansers and shit were a thing.
And it was just grapefruit. And every time like I hear the word grapefruit now, that's what I think about. I'm like, oh, the grapefruit diet.
The grapefruit
What
diet.
else you use grapefruit for? I don't really eat grapefruit. Yeah.
You can see how your environment has such an influence on your behaviors and your values and what you end up developing as you grow up.
And it's really hard as a mum because you don't want to do it to your own kids.
Yeah.
Do you find that there's some behaviors that you've like subconsciously pushed onto them?
Yeah. So I do this thing where at my entrance to my house, at the front door, I've got this table and it's got a massive, massive bowl on it, and it's always full of like lollies and chocolate and stuff. Yep. So for me, I found that one thing that really kind of prevented me from continuing with the binging was to know that it was always accessible.
Yeah.
So, you know, with the restricting, you're always, your body's and your mind's always thinking,
can't have it.
I can't have it, so I want it.
Yeah.
But if it's in front of you and you're like, I can actually eat that. I can actually eat that whole block of chocolate. It's not going to affect me one bit. You kind of just like, well, I don't really want it because it's not as, you take the power away.
It's so true. It's so true because
exposure therapy, that's what it's called. It's exposure therapy.
When because when you're told you can't have something, you want it more. It's like anything. It can be food, it can be sex,
it could be
anything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Don't touch this big red button.
Absolutely.
I want to touch the big red button.
You have curly hair, you want to straighten it. Like, that's just how it is. You know, you want what you can't have, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And if you're told you can't have it, you really want it. So I've kind of made sure that it's always available at home. You know, I've got cookies on the kitchen counter. They're welcome to go into the pantry and have whatever they want, kind of whenever they want, and they don't touch it.
Yeah.
They don't touch it because they don't care for it. And then I've got friends who are like anti-sugar because they're not really well educated and on the topic, and their kids just like will hide and eat like a bag of lollies if they're given the opportunity. While mine are like, why are you doing that?
I was going to say, they'll go to a kid's birthday party and like the lolly bags and the cake,
Correct.
it's the end of the, like, they'll go to town on it.
Yeah, mine wouldn't care. They'd be like, oh yeah, I'll have cake if I want or I won't have if I don't want. They don't care. Because I haven't raised them to think this is good, this is bad. I'm just like, whatever, it's just food.
I want to talk about this. Let's talk about this because so many people still to this day classify their food as good and bad. Or I'll do a check-in with a client and they'll be like, oh, I fucked up my week and I ate so bad. I'm like, define what you ate. What are you classifying as bad? And one of the things when I tap into mindset with people is like unpacking all of these labels that they put on food, because as soon as you do put that label on, as soon as you eat that bad food,
that's right,
you're making yourself feel shit and you're making yourself feel guilty for doing that.
Absolutely.
Whereas if you just stop telling yourself that you've, you know, so what, you ate a block of chocolate, you've eaten something that's put you over your calorie budget, but it doesn't mean you've eaten bad.
Yeah. And did you enjoy it?
I was going to say,
like, there's more to it than
And I always say, I'm like, well, if that's the case, if that's how you feel, I eat bad every single day of my life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you know what I mean?
I allow like treats in all the time.
Yeah.
It's such a mindset thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like just trying to change people's perspective on what they're actually eating, and even just like implementing chocolate each day, or even just the things that you love, helps massively.
Put it in. It's massively. Like, I uploaded a post today about sugar cravings. It's like, well, if you have sugar cravings, it's probably because like you're either not fueling throughout the day, but then you're
100%.
not giving yourself the opportunity to actually have the things that you want. Like, don't cut it out. Just incorporate it into your life. And
exactly right.
It's like when you have your cycle, like when people say, oh, I always get sugar cravings around my period. Well, plan for it.
Yeah.
Like if you know
craving sugar it's not really normal. So if you're actually craving sugar, it's
your body's asking for it,
or you're lacking in something else. You're lacking in protein. You're lacking in something else. So it's like feed yourself properly.
Tired as well.
Or stressed out
when they're just tired.
So feed yourself properly.
Huge actually on that.
Sleep's massive. Sleep's probably the most important of all of it. Sleep and mindset, I reckon, are the two most important of all of it.
And stress.
Yeah,
sleep is massively underrated as well.
Absolutely, it's so it's like the number one cause of like eventual
morbidity,
like death rate. Yeah. Like sleep. So we all know who's going first. The mum.
Oh my god, true. Because like, how is your sleep significantly compromised as a mum?
It is for a long time until they finally do sleep all night. Yeah, it is. So
it'd be much better now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I was very strict on the sleep. So I was like, sleep is important for them and sleep is important for me.
Yeah.
So, But when they're babies, I mean,
you don't have a choice.
They wake up during the night,
Yeah,
they're hungry, they're wet, whatever it might be. You got no choice. You're up at least 5-6 times a night when they're newborn. So
Oh, I'm not interested.
yeah, no, I don't blame you.
I'm not interested.
I would never do it again. I'm not.
I love sleep too much.
I do not blame you. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just like one thing you just look forward to every single time.
absolutely. Just get into your bed. Yeah.
With the like relationship with food, other than like restrictive eating, why do you think people have such a negative relationship with food?
I think it's just a lack of education.
Yeah.
So I think, like we were just saying before, people referring to good and bad food when it's just food. Some food is more,
Energy
higher in nutritional value. Some food is higher in, calories because it's, got a higher level of saturated fat or whatever it may be. But I think lack of education is probably the biggest one because sometimes when I step away from this world and I'll just go say on Facebook and just read like a thread and just the amount of lack of knowledge that's out there is actually quite scary.
It's crazy.
We say this too because we're in the bubble of health and
We
fitness.
know it.
We feel like everyone knows this.
Yes, but they don't.
No.
If
Because
you
it's
step
a
away,
general
no one knows this.
conversation.
Yeah. There's people out there doing the things that I did, 20 years ago,
It still
Yeah.
exists.
Absolutely.
It still exists.
But there's also a massive amount of information out there that's not true either.
And it's not regulated, this industry, enough.
No.
Like a lot of people just truly still believe things like the keto diet is the only way to like lose weight, is to cut out all your carbs or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And they truly believe that because they don't know any different. And
Yeah.
that's what's worked for them. So they think that is the only way.
Yeah.
Or, there's a lot of misinformation out there and that's what's causing a lot of people's issues.
Massively, yeah.
I notice this particularly when I'm at school because when I'm at school, that's when I realize just when you're interacting with day-to-day people who aren't into fitness.
Correct.
And they'll make comments on you on how you eat or your food and you'll tell them something and they go, oh, I thought you wouldn't eat this. Or I thought, when people make those comments and it's like, yeah, but like you can eat that. Or like if you eat a piece of cake or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
you're
into
having
health-
cake.
I didn't think you would eat cake and all of these little comments and you're like, this shit still exists.
Yeah, absolutely. But we don't see it as much because we're so caught up in our knowledge, and all of our like friends seem to have the same kind of knowledge because you're kind of friends with people in the same kind of industry. And your friends are from the gym or your friends are from, your comp preps or whatever it may be. And you think everybody knows what you know, but they don't.
No,
they don't. And
it's so funny.
I work with people who say things like, it's the sugar. The sugar's killing us. Or it's the carbs. I'm
That's
cutting all
literally
carbs.
my mum. My mum's like that.
There's something new every week.
Yes.
What do you hear? What are some of the things that you still hear?
What's the most outrageous thing you've heard?
That baffle you and you're like, I didn't think this still existed, but it does.
Definitely the carbs one. I'm like, I can't believe people still hate on carbs when carbs are so important. Like they are our brain's main energy source.
Your brain.
Yeah.
Like your brain needs them to survive.
Georgia knows.
Yes. Yes, give me the carbs. Since I've come like in my reverse in the last 4 weeks, just mentally I feel
How much better
alive.
do you feel?
alive is the right word to say. Like it's just
The body needs them.
She had
body
no
needs
brain
it.
function in
and
her peak week.
fats.
Absolutely.
Fats are so
Especially for
important.
women and like hormone
hormones.
movement and balance. and
Everything.
we need it. you know?
Everything.
I do say, cut the saturated fat as much as possible,
Of
obviously,
course.
because it's terrible for you, but not completely, like have some, but good fats are so important.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
and obviously
Regulating hormones.
Yeah, and obviously like controlling how much you're actually consuming in terms of fats,
course.
because it's very easy to overconsume. But
They are very easy
yeah,
to
you need
overconsume.
to definitely never cut out carbs, never cut out fats.
I don't
Yeah.
think we should be cutting out anything.
No,
And
no.
that's the problem.
Unless you're intolerant to it.
Exactly. Or you
Unless
like hate it.
Unless you don't know what I was saying last week, that like if you know how when you read the back the ingredients on some things, and there's so many different things that
Or that you can't literally
if you don't know how to
you don't
pronounce the
understand
word,
what
probably shouldn't be consuming that.
Yeah. I think your diet should just be like, wherever possible, having like whole foods. So like your fruits, your veggies, your protein, your good fats, all that stuff, but not to the point where you're cutting out anything as well.
Yeah.
Like if you really want the chocolate, just have a piece of chocolate, because what's
Yeah.
going to happen is you're going to restrict, and then the next day you're going to restrict again, and then you may even keep restricting, and then you're going to blow out.
Yeah.
And instead of just having a few rows or whatever it may be, you're going to have like 5 blocks.
Yep.
And then you're going to have that fuck it mentality, and you're
Yeah.
going to eat everything in sight, and then it's the all or nothing. And that's how it starts.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how that
snowballs.
restrict, binge starts. And it's really a downhill slope from there.
How can people start to where can people start to be more educated about it?
I don't know where people can start. I mean, because there's so much misinformation out there, it's really hard. Like sometimes, people will listen to like an online coach who may have absolutely no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And they may be promoting something because in the end it's going in their pocket, like a 100%. Supplement or something that, like a fat burner or something that we all know is not going to do anything for you.
But someone will get sucked in still. Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot. A couple of episodes ago, we were talking about how many fitness influencers
yes.
that are out there that are just trying to look hot and promote a certain brand just for their own gain.
Absolutely.
And they're pushing misinformation.
And people will buy it because they're like, she looks amazing or he looks amazing.
And they're popular on Instagram.
That's right.
it.
So they wouldn't get popular if they didn't know. But that's what people don't understand is the amount of followers you have has nothing to do with your education or your knowledge.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. It may just be the fact that this person is really good at pushing their page.
Yeah.
Their friends are really good at pushing their pages for them.
They're
They may
just
be
good at social
posting
media.
lots. Yeah, they're really good at making their page look really aesthetic and people follow them. They actually may not know anything that they're talking about.
Yeah.
So, you may have someone with 300 followers who knows absolutely everything, really well educated, but their information's not getting out there because no one's following them or no one's really understanding what they're about.
How do we filter through that?
Yeah, that's a really hard one. I think if people are really, really serious about their health and fitness, I think they should start with a really good nutrition coach.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good starting point, regardless of what your goals may be, whether it's, fat loss or muscle gain or just learning a little bit more about your health.
Just to become more educated.
Yeah, just like knowing a little bit more about how you should be consuming food on a daily basis.
Yeah. Even getting just like a PT just to help you start with proper training, and then PTs, not all PTs know a lot about nutrition, but once you start learning things here and there, you can find out what feels good for you, what feels right for you, and then go from there.
And you can go from there. And
And I think it's about understanding what works for you as well, that you can sustain for a long period of time.
Of course.
You spoke earlier about how fats are important for your hormonal health.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask if you had hormonal issues or gut issues
Absolutely.
when you had all of this binge yo-yo restriction.
Yeah. So I lost my period for a very long time.
Yep.
In my early 20s, my ex and I were trying to get pregnant for about 2 years and I just had absolutely no cycle. I wasn't ovulating at all. So I was doing all the tests and stuff and the doctor was just saying to me, you're not ovulating at all. Follicles aren't reaching where they need to be to actually release an egg. I'd get like a withdrawal bleed, which wasn't a period, once every maybe 18 months or something like that.
Yeah. Talk to us about that.
So it took until I was able to gain enough weight to get a regular cycle again. And
sorry, we at this point when you were trying to get pregnant, were you going through like an eating disorder? Not an eating disorder, like a bad relationship with food?
I was going through one of those, I'm not eating stages.
It was a 10-day fast. That's what I was going through.
For like 100 days. So, I lost my period for ages and then I got my period back again. And I've got like a history of PCOS and endometriosis, which I've had removed and stuff. That has nothing to do with kind of the eating stuff. That's just a hormone.
Oh, we'll have to get you on the podcast again just to talk about
the female health issues and the reproductive issues. Yeah, no worries. Gut health would be also dependent on what I was consuming. So when I was living on the sugar-free stuff, like
forget it,
the sugar-free maple syrups or the sugar-free mints and all that stuff to curb the hunger. Just the thought of it makes me feel sick, And I just get like the runs. I'd always have a sore stomach.
Severely bloated.
Bloated and gassy.
Gassy.
I think
it was horrible.
We've had this conversation just
too many times.
The gas that you get from having sugar-free stuff.
Oh yeah, it's the devil.
It's devil juice.
It's devil juice.
Honestly,
sugar alcohols are like poison.
It is so bad for you.
I know.
So bad for you.
They make you feel like dog shit too.
Yeah.
Like I remember at one stage, I would grind my teeth. I was like, what's wrong with my teeth? Like, why do I feel like this? It was because of all the sugar-free shit I was eating all the time. My teeth were like, feed me fucking food, man. Like,
Minute of silence.
I've been there.
This was me, I reckon, in my prep 5 years ago. This is where I understood how fucked sugar-free sweeteners were on my gut. And I turned my gut upside down from all of the low calorie, low sugar things. And it's like, just have the real fucking thing.
That's right.
And have a smaller portion.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like ice cream, right? The halo top, I cannot have that. So I'm just like, just get lactose-free ice cream.
Yeah.
And have a smaller amount. Because if you think about it, if you know that it's like more calorie dense and you have the real thing, you're going to have less. Whereas if you have the sugar-free version,
you eat the whole tub.
You eat the whole tub.
Well, you're not even meant to eat a whole tub of ice cream.
No.
Like, really.
No.
It's another binge eating promoter.
That's how you justify it.
Yeah, that's right. It's 300 calories, the whole thing, rather than for like 2 scoops.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you know another thing that I find really sad is when people don't understand the difference between like a treat being okay to just have. So, you know, there's a lot of people out there that swap their ingredients around. So say you're making a cake, for example, and I had a girlfriend do this, so this is why I'm using this example. I hope she doesn't hear this, but she bought this cake to an event we had and it looked really nice. I was like, oh yeah, like really chocolatey kind of thing. Yeah. And I had one bite and I spat it out. I was like, what is this made out of?
I know what you're going to say.
Oh, she replaced something with beetroot. And I was like, why have you done this? Like,
yeah, just have the real thing.
Just have the real thing. You need to understand if your diet is just genuinely like quite good, like you're having your fruits, your veggies, you're hitting like your daily habits, and you want to enjoy a cookie, just enjoy a real cookie.
Just eat the fucking cookie.
I know. Like, no one is eating a cookie to be healthy. Okay,
No.
you eat a cookie for enjoyment. You don't eat a cookie
Don't
because it's
cook
healthy.
me a beetroot cake and bring me down with your bullshit.
I don't want your beetroot cake or your avocado mousse or your
thought you were gonna say avocado.
Yes.
And like, don't do this sorry, but those that classify as good and bad, I'm sorry, but your avocado, you may as well just have fucking butter.
Absolutely.
Literally.
It's that high, it's that calorie dense anyway. I mean, it's obviously nutritionally probably better for you, but I'm not eating a cookie to be like, I'm being really healthy right now.
Yeah,
no.
I'm eating a cookie because I really want to enjoy this cookie. So let me enjoy it and don't fucking put beetroot in it. You know what I mean?
Take your beetroot and put it up your ass.
Exactly right. Your beetroot and your avocado.
It's like those protein, the protein cookies and stuff, right?
Yes.
It's like that stuff gives you, that is devil juice as well.
That is like, does something
Quest
to you
bars.
guys. I don't know what's
Disgusting
in there.
ingredients in them too.
Yeah, they're foolish as shit.
Like some, because people think of that as like a healthy food.
Yes.
So again, it's like the reverse of like good and bad food. People classify protein bars as healthy food, and I'm like, that is
marketing though,
isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm like, that's why food labels, honestly,
it's bullshit.
Like, again, comes back to education. As well.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. You know, you can just because you're plastering the words vegan and sugar free on a packet does not make it healthy.
No, correct.
You know, like, it's your marketing scam to go, this is good for you. It's not good for you. It's really not. You know? So I think that's probably also another one on that question is how to educate people around health. People need to learn how to read a nutrition label and to understand what's in their food.
100%. Yeah. Even with if they don't have MyFitnessPal, that's probably a good way to start in terms of like
just starting to look at food labels.
Yeah, just scanning it and just seeing how much you're actually consuming or what's actually in them. Because then once you're learning what's in foods, it becomes easier to recognize what you should and shouldn't be eating.
Absolutely. And how much of it you should be having.
Yeah.
And just understanding what's in your food, like your ingredients and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, what is this? Google it.
Yeah.
See what it is.
Yeah.
What's it doing to you?
Even on the note of the food tracking, it's like, don't just use MyFitnessPal when you're in a diet. On a diet, or like don't
just use it for knowledge.
As in like don't use it just to try and eat the least amount of food as possible in the day. Do you know what I mean? Like actually use it to go, what do I eat that I actually love, and educate yourself with how many calories that actually is.
Exactly.
So then you can actually incorporate it into your day.
And kind of understand your portion sizes as well, because that's quite important. Like you were saying before about the ice cream, you can have 2 scoops of a really good ice cream, or you could have like a litre tub of like that shitty fake ice cream. I'd probably rather the 2 scoops of the really nice ice cream and just enjoy what I'm eating.
Same.
So education.
And then not feeling sick after it too.
Absolutely. Or having gut issues.
Yeah. Because the gut thing is the biggest problem, I think, with where people go wrong with trying to be healthy, but then they're eating foods that are literally causing them more pain.
Because they don't understand.
Worst digestion than if they were to just have, eat less, better portion control.
That's right.
And just have the real shit.
And have the real thing and just enjoy it. Really enjoy it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. How do you balance eating well, dining out, and enjoying the foods that you love while being a busy mom?
So I think once you are quite educated like on nutrition and stuff, I think you can make some good decisions. So, if you're out and you really want the pizza or whatever it may be, just have it. And move on with your day rather than having it and then spending the rest of the day binging. It takes a while to get there because it's a real mindset thing. But like most of the time as well, every restaurant or every place you go to is going to have a better for you option. You know what I mean? You can always pick, a chicken salad or a piece of fish and roast vegetables. You can swap your chips for mashed potato, whatever it may be. You can make just small, better choices. It doesn't have to be this all or nothing. I can't track my meal, so I'm going to eat everything on the table.
Yeah.
You could just go, I know that that's going to be good for me. I'm going to eat the right amount and I'm just going to move on.
Yeah.
And that's it. And you just move on.
Yeah.
Like,
and not getting too attached to it.
No, that's right. And not just like, doing your head in over it for the next 3 days. Why did I have that meal on Saturday night?
Yeah.
Shouldn't have had the extra slice of pizza. Who cares?
Yeah.
Move on. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not going to hurt you as much.
Tomorrow's a new day.
Exactly right. Get back on track. You're fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think a question that might be useful to the listeners is like, when did this education start for you? Like, when did you actually go, like, how did you become more educated about food?
Yeah, so once I started my page, I originally started my page because everybody was like, you've lost so much weight. How are you doing it? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm going to show you guys how I'm eating. I eat 1,000 calories a day, you know?
So you started your Instagram back when you did have maybe bad habits with food.
A lot of bad habits, I would say, yeah. And I was a lot.
How long ago was that?
Just over 2 years ago.
Yeah,
I started the page, and I'd say things like, I'll put up my recipes on there, and you guys can just have a look at what I eat for the day. And I would do things like what I ate today, like, you know, those days on a plate kind of reels and stuff, and it would be like a tiny little YoPro for breakfast, and then I'd have like 4 lettuce leaves for lunch. You know what I mean? And like I'd be like,
really?
But I was really proud of it because I hadn't eaten for so long.
Did you ever get someone say to you, you should be
all the
eating
time?
More? Yeah.
I'd get coaches messaging me all the time saying, hey, mate, why are you eating only 1,100 calories a day or whatever it may be?
And you would tell people how many calories you had?
Yeah. Because I didn't realize, see, just like a lot of general population, I didn't know. I was like, this is really good because for me, 1,000 calories was a lot.
Yeah.
Compared to what I had been on, which was 0.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And the thing is, no, because I started following you, I think, once you'd become more educated.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I did remove a lot of things. So I was like, not because I was ashamed, because I don't think there's any shame in admitting that you didn't know anything, more because I didn't want anybody to look at it and be like, I should copy that.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah. I was like, it's not something to be proud of. So
yeah. And I think that's what people just need to know is like a lot of things that you see online, take that with, look at it for inspiration.
Absolutely.
But don't use it to copy it.
That's right, because everybody's different. And, that person's specific macronutrient breakdown and calorie breakdown that has been given to them by their coach is for them. It is specific to their body type and shape and their amount of exercise and steps and the rest of it that they do per day. Your life may be completely different.
That's something we preach a lot on
of course, on
this, because you don't want anyone copying
your day on a plate.
What you're doing. Because even just you and I, our bodies are so different. Your metabolism works a lot faster than what mine does, and you eat a lot more than what I do. So what you need is different from what I need.
Yeah, absolutely. Like if I put myself on your calories,
you'd be dead.
I'd get so shredded.
Literally.
Whereas
if I ate what you're eating, I would be a big bitch. I'd be a huge girl. So, but I want to work my way up to that.
Yeah.
Once my metabolism's back in order.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Back to that question though. So like for the general population who are not educated about food. Like where did it start for you? 2 years ago is where you kind of started getting more educated.
More into it, and then probably 2 years ago, because then I ended up with Tyson the trainer.
Yeah.
And
so you hired a coach?
Yes, I hired a coach. He was amazing. And I was very much focused on hiring a coach who was focused on health.
Yeah.
Not just on getting you skinny quick.
And you also touched on this to me, that your goal is now, what you preach is health.
Absolutely.
And longevity.
Absolutely.
And not weight loss.
Exactly right. So I think weight loss is important for the people who actually need to lose weight, because obesity is also terrible for us. It is a problem, and I don't think we should be overlooking it to the point of, I'm all for body positivity, but I don't think it's positive to be promoting obesity, which is also, a silent killer.
Because that's obviously, I was going to say, it's obviously the cause
struggling, everything's struggling.
Many deaths.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. But, getting so shredded and so lean because you just want to be constantly
looking lean,
skinny and looking overly lean is not something that is healthy and should be promoted either. I mean, people do comp prep, and you guys have both done it, where you're in periods of it's hard work, and it's really hard to get like that lean.
But it's not healthy.
And it's also not maintainable.
No.
You can't stay that lean. And this is the thing, you get into this mindset when you lose all this weight and you feel amazing, and you're like, if you're underweight, you cannot remain underweight like that forever.
No.
You can't. Your body physically can't do it, and you're going to start, you need to eat, you're going to start binging. And I don't think we should be promoting like lean constantly, especially when women losing periods. You lose your period because your body is literally fighting for survival.
You're under so much stress.
Yeah. So what happens is with the reproductive system is, because, we are basically cavemen, our bodies know that we are put on this earth to reproduce, right? Whether we want to reproduce or not, that is our main purpose. And our body does everything it can to make sure that we can reproduce as human beings to keep the population growing. As soon as you get so severely underweight that you lose your period, your body's main goal is now not to reproduce. It is now to keep you alive.
Yeah.
So it is taking what it can from other parts of your body to keep you alive. And it is going, you cannot reproduce, we're stopping your period because you are literally in survival mode now. Yeah. And that is not a healthy way to live.
Not at all.
And it's actually quite dangerous for women because it eats away your calcium stores in your body and you end up, you know, with a really high risk of osteoporosis and stuff in the future.
So many other
This has just made me feel very happy because today was the day I just got my period back. So I'm feeling claps all around. I'm back to a healthy state.
Yes, good. That's where you want to be.
That's so good.
Yeah.
You actually got it back so much quicker than I thought.
Yeah. So yeah, I think my last prep I got it back like 4 months later. This
5
is
weeks.
5 weeks later. It's because I've been
Winner.
eating well. I've been eating well.
It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing. It's actually healthy.
Oh yeah, no.
Your body's like, okay, you can have a baby now.
Yeah, literally. No, overall I'm feeling great. So
I forgot to ask you, did you end up training fueled? Remember you said
no,
you were
I didn't. I didn't. I'll do it tomorrow, Saturday.
All right.
Tomorrow, Saturday.
But yeah, you're feeling good.
Feeling great.
Good.
Yeah, feeling great.
That's awesome.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Not at all. No, that was it. That's all.
We just had to have a big celebration because we got from period back.
In some cultures, they do that.
Yeah, absolutely they do. What was the question? We got on track.
No, where we were talking about was how your reproductive health is how being lean is not healthy.
Correct.
Or sustainable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, we don't want to be glorifying being skinny and being lean as healthy.
That's right.
Because
We don't want to glorify being underweight.
There's a spectrum, right, of health.
Correct.
So in terms of the relationship between your aesthetic look and health is different.
Absolutely.
Do you know what I mean? Like it's not like you're overweight and you're unhealthy and you're skinny and you're healthy.
Yes,
like
correct.
That's not how the spectrum works.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think in order for you to be healthy, you're probably falling in the middle here.
Exactly.
You're a little bit heavier, but you have a better relationship with food, you have more balance, you have more freedom.
That's right. You can do the things like say yes to coffee dates out with your friends and that sort of thing.
Have a date night
absolutely.
with your husband.
Yeah, have a few drinks, that sort of thing, and kind of be okay. And that's where education's important because that's how you learn how to maintain your weight.
Yep.
Yeah. Within a few kilos.
Yeah. How you also don't go from the binge yo-yoing restriction vicious cycle as well.
Absolutely.
Because that's exactly where you discovered that freedom, and to have more of a sustainable approach to your health goals was the moment that you decided to incorporate that balance and become more educated to do so.
Absolutely.
And your main tip, I guess, would be to hire a coach or at least get some guidance and support.
Absolutely. And just start understanding as well, like health is so much more than just how you look.
Yep.
You know, and also what you put into your body really makes a difference to how you feel.
Yeah.
You know, so
thinking about how you feel.
Absolutely. When you have one of those, like I've had a really kind of crappy eating day today and I just feel, ugh.
Yeah.
When I've had like more whole foods and lots of water and done heaps of movement, I just feel physically better. And that has nothing to do with calories or losing weight or anything. It's just fueling your body properly so that you feel good. You feel as best as you can.
It's also about the quality of food too.
Absolutely.
Like not just like, not that everyone can eat organic all the time because organic is fucking ridiculously expensive.
Absolutely.
But you notice that when you eat whole foods and organic foods, how much better you feel. Even just something like eggs. Have you eaten organic eggs before?
Yes.
Have you seen the difference between normal Coles eggs and organic eggs?
Like once it's cracked and fried or cooked or what?
Everything. So like the yolk is so much more yellow. The taste is just so much more fluffier. It's just, they're so much more lighter on your stomach too. Everything, anything organic is just, I think, is a lot better.
Yeah, I think, eating whole foods is probably the best way to go. Yeah. Just as a whole.
Yeah. I think it's almost like following that 80-20 approach to nutrition.
Absolutely.
Like, you know, having 80% of your foods to be wholesome.
Absolutely.
And plant-based and full of animal lean
just having
protein.
like a checklist in your mind of your daily habits every day, you know.
What are
Have I had
your
enough veggies today?
What are your daily habits?
My daily habits are, and this was what my old coach taught me, was to get enough protein in, so lean sources of protein before supplements. So, you know, your chicken, your fish, your steaks, your animal pretty much products before supplementing with like a protein powder.
Yep.
You know, like your YoPro is really good. So getting enough fiber is really important as well. and making sure that I'm having enough fruit and veggies, so that covers the fiber sort of thing. So yeah, protein, fruit, veggies. What's my daily habits? Getting lots of steps in. Absolutely, water. Yep. Drinking.
Sleep.
Yeah, sleep. That's like my biggest downfall is sleep.
I think it's everyone's biggest downfall.
Yeah, it's definitely mine at the moment.
Yeah.
Juggling everything that you have on your to-do list for the day and then trying to want to go to sleep but want to get things done.
Absolutely.
And it's that balance, isn't it?
Yeah.
Between
like,
trying to
sleep is taking up my time. I need to get things done, but it's so important.
It's so important.
Absolutely. So yeah, sleep, water, protein, fruits, veggies. Just getting enough of good things in. They're my daily habits pretty much.
Yep. Do you have a mindfulness habit or something that you do for you? Like, so as we know, you're a busy mum.
Yes.
And mums really struggle to put themselves first. Okay.
Absolutely.
So, but we do know that taking that time for you allows you to be a better mum.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because showing up for your kids, if you're not showing up as your best self, you're not showing up as your best self for your kids.
Or for anyone.
Absolutely.
Or for anyone.
Yeah.
So,
and burnout is very real, especially as a mum.
Yeah, yeah. So what tips would you have, or not even going into what tips you have, but what is something that you do for you, and do you do that? Do you allocate that every single day?
Yeah. So once a week, I take like 2 hours to myself completely. So I make sure they're in bed. My husband's leaving me alone, and I like just do not talk to me. This is my 2 hours to myself, and I'll do the whole. I'm washing my hair. I'm shaving my legs. I'm putting on a face mask. I'm doing all the things that make me happy.
Yeah.
And then the other, because I wash my hair twice a week. The other one's just like a quick wash and like in and out with the hair dry because like, there's no time.
How much do we underestimate how much time it takes to wash your
hours
hair?
to just like wash it and tone it and treat it and
just to put
dry
yourself
it
together.
and straighten it, just to like look like and feel clean.
Yeah.
And, like when you got dirty hair, everything feels gross.
Disgusting. You feel oily and yuck.
Don't you?
Yeah.
Everywhere. Even though it's just your head. So that's one thing I always do for myself. I also am only working 4 days a week. So I've got 1 day a week where the kids are at school.
Yeah.
And although I do try and do things like today I did bed sheets and you know, it's shit you still got to do. You still have to do it, absolutely. But I still will try and allocate like a good 2 to 3 hours just for myself and do whatever I want, whether it's to go shopping or to like just sit on my phone and
just time for
play
yourself
and just like eat and like just do what I want to do. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, this is my time. Do not disturb me.
Yeah.
So
because how important is your time and what you
so important.
Just that alone time is
love
so
alone time.
valuable. I love it.
Yeah.
Honestly, sometimes I'll go like to do the groceries and I'll leave the kids with their dad.
Yeah,
like I'll do it on a weekend.
And you're like, this is the best.
This is the best thing ever. I'm on my own and I'll sit in my car for an extra 20 minutes with the heater on and the music going and just like staring into space.
There's actually nothing better than just like quality time by yourself.
Yeah,
you feel
so
recharged.
You don't have to do anything. You just sit there.
Mentally you just feel so much better.
And your husband's sitting there like, oh, I didn't realise it took 3 hours to do the
And
grocery
he wouldn't know
shopping.
because he's never done the grocery shopping. He's like, how would he know?
Just sit there and mind your business.
Yeah. And then I'll come home like, I did so much grocery shopping. Oh my God. And he's like, I'll come to the car and get the bags.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
Oh, bless him.
Yeah. So, yeah, absolutely.
That's what you do.
Bit of downtime wherever you can fit it
Underrated.
in. And I think a lot of mums do this, which I do not recommend. They stay up really late
Yeah.
when everyone else is asleep and it's quiet and they're like, finally, this is my time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they need to be sleeping
You
too.
should be sleeping, but
Yeah.
because that's also your time. But I get that as well.
Yeah.
You know, so
Well, do you exercise at the moment? Are you exercising
I
at
do.
the moment?
So I make sure I get like a good 15,000 steps a minimum a day.
Yeah.
And I
God,
do.
that's good.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Yeah.
I do work on my feet though. So
Yeah.
that was, I work in a family business, basically in a warehouse at the moment, and I'm always on my feet and I'm lifting and I'm carrying and I love it.
That's
I don't
so
think I
good.
could ever go back to an office job after doing that.
Yeah.
And I do 2 sessions of reformer Pilates a week. I try and get a gym workout in when I can. It has been a bit hard. I'm trying to still get used to working and stuff because I didn't work for so long.
What kind of routine works for someone who's a mum? So I'm someone who, I don't have kids, right?
Yes.
I have a lot of mum clients that they want to train, they want to get themselves into the gym, they want to improve and invest into themselves, but their biggest limitation is time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially if they're working mums.
I was going to say, I've got my mum clients, I fucking love them and I have so much respect for them because they just do it all.
And they're hard workers.
They're hard workers. They work they train, they still get up and train, they track their food, they get their steps in, and they are taking their kids to all these sports.
Absolutely.
And I'm just like,
and they're probably keeping their house clean.
and they're super
being a husband, being a wife, being a mum.
Yep.
They are literally superwoman.
It's amazing.
So
women are incredible.
Incredible. Yeah.
Another kettle of fish. Yeah.
100%. And so like, what advice would you have for them if they are telling me, look, Kayla, like I just don't have time to get to the gym, or how can I find time or make time to get my steps in? Like if they do work an office job.
Yeah, it's really hard.
What do you have any tips on how they could increase their step count? Not necessarily hit 10,000 steps, but how can they get from like doing 2,000 steps a day to maybe just pushing that to 5,000?
Yeah.
Or getting
more time in.
Instead of trying to aim for 5 sessions a week, like let's be more realistic, and how could they work in 2-3 sessions a week just to move their bodies more than what they already are?
Well, it really depends as well on how old their children are. If you've got a newborn, it's really hard. What you could do is you could pop that baby into a carrier onto your chest and go for a walk.
Yeah.
Because if you've only got one as well, it's manageable. If you've got help, you know, if you've got a supportive partner or someone like close by that can watch your kids for an hour or whatever, you get up, you get them watched, and you just go. Even if you only do 40 minutes, like it takes you 10 to get there, 10 to get home, and you've done 40 minutes at the gym. 40 minutes is great compared to nothing.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's a good workout. You can do quite a bit in 40 minutes. Other things are like, depending obviously on your kids' ages, you can get up really early as well. So my kids are 7 and 5, so I'm past the baby years now. So my husband works away as well. He's FIFO. So I'm like basically a single working mum. So it's almost impossible. Yeah. But when he is home, it's things like I'm able to get up at say 5 a.m., go to the gym, smash out an hour, get home, have a shower, and he leaves the house like by 7.
Yeah.
You know, things like that. But it is really hard, and it depends on your personal situation because not everyone has a partner.
I was also going to say,
you know?
my mum clients actually prefer training in the evening. Like I've got some that train at like 9 p.m.
Absolutely. I used to train at 9 p.m.
Is that
Or
when
even-
you used to train?
Even like your walking pad. People getting just walking pads like that just to get the extra steps
Absolutely.
up.
Yeah.
And if you
help
work
massively.
in an office, get up every like hour and do like walk around for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Give your legs a stretch. It's an OHS thing too. You shouldn't be sitting down like that all day anyway.
Yeah.
You know? On your lunch break, instead of sitting around the lunch table in the kitchen and having your lunch, get up and walk around where you are. If the weather permits, walk.
Because there's also like if you can eat your lunch whilst you're at your desk, you almost would eat your lunch at your desk whilst you're working,
and then get up and move,
and then your allocated lunch break, go for a walk.
Absolutely.
That's what I've been doing with mine because I'm at a desk all day.
Yeah.
And like if it's not raining, I'm almost every day out there walking.
Absolutely.
Just because
walk around.
Yeah. Because you don't want to be you're literally sitting for 7.5 hours.
And it's good for your mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you feel so much better after a walk.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it takes a bit to just get off your ass and do it, especially in freezing cold Melbourne.
Yeah.
But once you get home, you never regret moving your legs.
Ever.
Like, it's the best feeling.
Ever.
No.
And I'd like when the weather's good, I way
You
prefer
actually
walking
enjoy it.
outside rather than being on a treadmill at the gym.
Same.
Yeah.
So much more fun.
And I think it's like, stop trying to act like your steps is a chore. Like do it
it's
to
good
be
for
like,
you.
it makes me feel better going outside for a walk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
how
good for your heart. Like, get those legs moving, you know, get the blood moving. But I do get it. Like, if you've got really little children, like I had 2 under 2 at one stage, it was almost impossible.
Yeah,
you know, and a husband who worked away for like 8 months of the year. And it was just like, someday you just could not.
You can't.
But as a mum, you don't really sit down anyway. But I'm talking like gym workouts. It was really hard sometimes to just leave 2 little babies with someone so you could go to the gym. You almost felt guilty because you're like, I can leave them for an hour to go get groceries because I'm going to starve. But to have me time was a really big deal.
Yeah. So would you say shift the focus rather than it being more about training, just focus more on what you're eating?
Absolutely, yeah.
If they want to be healthier.
And even if like your kids go down for day naps and you're just at home, don't just sit, just like move your body. Do something, even if it's something productive like vacuuming the house.
Vacuuming, yeah.
Cleaning is actually such a good workout.
Scrub that bathroom, baby.
Yeah.
Get
down, baby, girl.
Yeah, that is true.
Absolutely. You got a clean bathroom and you've got 1,000 steps in those 10 minutes.
And that ass is looking plump now.
Exactly. Squat at that toilet.
10 squats in between.
Absolutely. So, but yeah, and do you know what another thing is? We don't all enjoy the same things.
No.
Find something you love.
Yeah.
Like I love reformer Pilates and I only started in the last couple of months.
My sister's the same. My sister's obsessed.
You do.
I find myself working harder than I did lifting weights 5 days a week.
And do you know what? Reformer Pilates is actually difficult.
Like it is so bloody hard. I thought I was fit. I go into that class and I am I'm humbled. I'm the shit.
Very humble. Yeah. I remember when I went there and I was like, oh, bodybuilder, I lift weights. I'm
like,
alright.
no, this is going to be like yoga and it's not.
No, I literally went out there and I was like, I am actually like, my heart rate is through the roof.
It's so good on your core, posterior chain, like all of it.
The other night they had me like squatting and pulsing at the same time with one leg up in the air and like some.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
I
never done this before.
Where do you go?
Dumbbells are so much easier. I go to Studio 47 in Tullamarine.
Okay.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They've got an app and they've always got really good deals. Like my last package was like 10 classes for $100 or something. It was really good. So
is that through them or is that through ClassPass?
No, through them. They've got their own private app, Studio 47.
Ah, okay.
It's awesome. I'm loving it. Like, I cannot wait to sign up for another session. And they always do challenges and I'm like,
community.
Absolutely. And you know what? If you really enjoy something, you will find time to prioritize it.
You will. 100% you will.
Yeah. Like if you love the gym, I love lifting weights. I'm not huge on cardio, but I think that a lot of us are like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't mind like the cross trainer. If I had to pick a cardio, would be the cross trainer out of all of it. I don't mind cycling, but I freaking hate everything else pretty much. I would make time for it. The reason I haven't been as often lately is because I haven't had the time to honestly do it. But like I will book in a reformer Pilates class a week in advance and I will look forward to it. I'll be like, I can't wait to go.
At the end of the day, the message is if you want to do it, you will.
Absolutely. And if you find something you
enjoy,
you prioritize the things you enjoy. And
stop fucking making excuses is what I was trying to say. No, I'm joking.
No. Just prioritize the things you enjoy. So if you really enjoy it, you will do it. If you go to the gym and you find yourself loving your program, you will keep going. If you absolutely hate your program and you've got a trainer, tell them.
Just
be like, I really fucking hate this, or I'm not good at this movement. No matter what I do, I cannot get. Can you just change it?
Be honest.
Change it.
Be honest. It goes. I'm saying
There's
that
enough movements that you can change.
I was going to say. I'm saying that as a coach. Tell me.
Absolutely.
But do you know what also just came to my mind as a really good question to ask you is meal planning.
Yes.
So when you're how do you, if you are someone who wants to be healthy, you are maybe in a fat loss phase, you're in a calorie deficit, how can you structure your day with food whilst also having your family and meal planning for little kids? Do you eat differently to your kids?
Depending on what I'm making. Okay. So I try and make family-friendly meals that are kind of like you can still have them in a deficit or whatever you're in at that time. You portion out your amount and then everyone else just eats whatever you've made. But it depends on your children too, because some kids like are
super fussy.
What do you like your two main go-to meals?
Give us a few meals that you are great for families.
Okay, so anything that's like a pasta dish, I reckon is usually family friendly, and you can also manipulate. So you could make like the sauce and then add extra shit for them and just have what you're having like towards your meal plan, for example, or like say like a chicken salad. For example, you can have your chicken salad and then you can do like a little plate for them where they can pick the bits and pieces they want to put in their salad so that they feel like they've contributed to their meal or whatever it may be.
Yeah. Even and it'd be like a homemade pizza or something.
Absolutely. Homemade pizzas, taco bowls, like nachos, that sort of stuff, where you've got like a plate of ingredients in front of them with 5 or 6 different options. They can put what they want in there and you can kind of portion yours out to how much you're going to eat as well. Those are always family friendly. And kids love shit like corn chips and stuff. Normally, you know, so they'll
and getting involved too.
Like you can weigh out your ingredients for your pizza and then they can just grab all the ingredients and do whatever they want. They just shove cheese all over it or whatever it is.
Because I'm a big advocate that you, where possible, don't want to be eating separately to your family.
Absolutely.
Because it instills like a bad habit of like, well, why is mum eating differently to me?
And I've had that come up plenty of times. What's mummy having? Like one of my oldest used to say, oh, we're having this. What's mummy having? Because he knew I was always eating differently. And I've tried so hard to make it so that I eat similar or same as them now.
And isn't that like crazy how you never know how that could develop into something that they
see later in life.
What's your response to them when they ask you that?
I remember the first time it happened, I was like, why would you think mummy's eating something different? And he said to me, you always eat something different. And I was like, oh really? I didn't even notice. I'm gonna have the same thing as you tonight. And in the back of my mind, I was like, no, because I've meal prepped. And I was like, no,
how dare you, child?
I know. Or like even we'd get takeaway and the older one would be like, is mum having takeaway? Like, as if mum's having takeaway.
This is a really big one that I get asked questions about a lot is, okay, Friday night's takeaway night. And my response to that is, well, we're learning about what we can fit in to our day and we plan the rest of our day around it.
Absolutely.
So I generally say to them, okay, well, what is the takeaway that you normally have? Okay, cool. This is what I would pick from this takeaway and you can still have that with your family.
Absolutely.
And then now you know what that is and how many calories or whatever that equates to. Next time when you have that, you know how to plan the rest of your day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We used to do KFC a lot because the kids were obsessed with popcorn chicken.
Yeah.
And I just knew I knew Friday night, we're having KFC after the kids' footy game. I knew I would get like a small zinger meal. I knew that was like 800 something calories. I would plan for it.
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
just pre-track it, start of the day,
Absolutely.
and then work
my day around it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's how I used to do it.
Even with MyFitnessPal as well, I'm pretty sure you can put almost any takeaway meal into that and it'll track it.
Every major fast food chain is in the MyFitnessPal database. That's why I say to my clients all the time, like, takeaway is fine.
Yeah.
Takeaway you can do because that fits into your
Absolutely.
day.
It's actually sometimes easier.
It's easier.
Like, I know what's in this, easy. You know?
Yeah.
And a lot of places now that you'll notice, like even just like you walk around the shopping centre and there's like a random Japanese restaurant with sushi, it'll actually say the kilojoules and it's transferred into calories and you know what you're kind of having to a point. And you know, like if it's full of fish or whatever, it's full of protein or whatever. So you can kind of estimate.
Again, it comes back to education, doesn't it?
Correct. And that you don't know that until you know that.
And you don't know that until you've kind of tracked it to discover that.
Absolutely. So you know how to make a better choice post-education. So I know now, I haven't tracked for say 6 months. I know if I go to a restaurant, I can probably pick the quote unquote healthiest thing on the menu and I will pick that and that's what I'll have.
Yeah, because you're choosing to have that and you're like, it's fine. And that's the thing. I think that's why we need to kind of educate people that you need to move towards being able to have that freedom.
Correct. Yeah. And that's when the freedom comes in, is when you can step away from the entire lifestyle and still be able to do it without having to open your phone or like have this kitchen scales there and weighing everything. Yeah. And there's a time and a place where that is appropriate. But as a whole, you cannot live your entire life like that.
No, that's where you want to get to, where
Correct.
you can,
where you can live like that. And then you jump into phases when you need, you know, you have
That's
particular
right.
goals.
I was going to say, you pick and choose, like, okay, I'm going to be more rigid for 8 weeks, or I'm going to be a little bit more carefree and do me. And
I'm going to Europe in 8 weeks. I want to shred down.
Yeah,
you know?
I've got Queensland in a few months and I have not shredded. I haven't even thought about it. Really should get on to
choice. All right, 2 simple exercises that can improve your mental health.
Absolutely walking and lifting anything.
Anything.
You don't even have to go to the gym, just fucking lift something.
Yeah.
Get a couple of dumbbells from Kmart and walk around
Pick
your house
your child
carrying
up.
them. Yeah, doesn't matter. Exactly right. Lift whatever you can. Shopping bags, groceries.
Yeah.
Lift and walk. Best things you can do for your body.
Done.
Functional movement.
Absolutely.
A piece of advice you could give to your younger self.
Doesn't matter. And no one cares as much as you think they do.
Yeah, that's
Honestly,
so true.
It's so true. Like, not about anything, your body, your decisions, anything. Make choices for you.
Yeah. No one cares about what you're doing.
Absolutely. And if they do, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What people think of you is none of your business.
Yeah.
True.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
So true. Favorite body part to train?
Legs.
Yeah. I think that's every girl.
Legs or glutes then? How are you talking?
Well, anything that doesn't cause me to have one of those muscle spasms. I get those cramps. Oh my God.
Yeah,
the worst.
same. Yeah. Same. Anything I do, I get a cramp.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, why am I in a cramp right now?
Yeah.
I'm applying my foot up in the air with like a stirrup. Like, why is my leg cramping?
I was literally sitting here last week and I was like, oh, there goes my foot, there goes my foot.
Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night. I'm like, why do I have a cramp in my calf?
Yeah.
Always.
Oh, don't even. It's
Bump
not
the
the
magnesium
calf.
up, ladies. You need the magnesium and the water.
On the topic of that, what's your favourite supplement?
Protein.
Protein?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Protein, creatine monohydrate. I do fish oil tablets, vitamin D, calcium. What do I take? Multivitamin. I take vitamin C during winter to try and avoid sickness. And it's everything. There's a few there, isn't there?
What's your favourite protein powder?
Yeah.
Like flavour wise? I'm contracted.
I'm contracted. I'll say one thing.
I really like Emerald Labs.
What's your favourite product from Emerald Labs?
I love their protein cream. So it's not just a whey powder. You actually mix it into...
It's like a mousse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can mix it into water or milk, but I love it in YoPro. It tastes like a custard, and I have it with overnight wheat bix. It is delicious.
Yeah.
What's your favourite
taste
flavour?
Like protein.
What's a good flavour?
I love the bubblegum. The bubblegum one, the vanilla fairy bread protein, or whatever it's called. Yeah. And there's one that's got like popping candy in it. It's delicious.
Look how excited you're getting. I love it.
I will not ever push a supplement store or anything else on my page that I do not genuinely love.
Yeah.
If I don't love it, it doesn't matter how much they're paying me to work with them. The answer is no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's how it should
I've
be.
rejected a lot of stores.
Yeah.
I'm proud of that. So,
yeah, good. That's
absolutely.
how it should be. That's how it should
so
be.
I do love their products, but you know.
Little cheeky shout out to them.
Yeah, little cheeky shout out. Discount code is Sarah.
Not sponsored. Hashtag.
What is your biggest ick in the in the fitness industry?
The trainers that seem to think that the whole world lives like them.
Yeah.
You're like a 25-year-old guy in your apartment on the Gold Coast. I'm like a 36-year-old mum of 2 kids who lives in freezing cold Melbourne. We are not the same person.
Yeah,
okay,
100%.
I don't have the 15 hours a day that you've gone. They say we've all got the same 24 hours. No, we don't, okay?
Yeah.
23 of those hours I've been up with a kid vomiting on me,
Yeah.
okay? You have not. So,
Yeah. Preach.
You got to understand everyone has different lifestyles and lives and everything. So
Yeah.
What's your biggest ick in people? Let me just bring my list out.
well, where do I start? That's a really hard one.
Too many.
Yeah, there's a few. Just like people who bring other people down and cannot ever be happy for other people's success or their happiness.
Yeah.
Like me being happy for your success doesn't take away from my life.
Yeah.
It adds to it. I'm like, this is awesome. You go, you do the best you possibly can do, and I'm going to do the same. And together we're going to win.
Yeah.
Like, why would you bring someone else down?
Yeah.
What do you get out of that? So, yeah, just like,
Be kind.
yeah, just be a good person.
Yeah.
Fix your own insecurities.
Absolutely.
That's what that's
Treat
saying.
people how you would want the people you love to be treated.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
You know,
That's great.
Huge one. Favorite post-workout meal?
I make this like protein jelly custard thing.
I've been seeing a bit of this online actually.
It's really delicious. I know. I'm not usually into the weird creations.
But you create it yourself, or is it
So-
like a packet?
No, you make it. So you get, I think it's the high protein Greek yogurt. You mix it with jelly light because that's the gelatin in it is what holds it together like a mousse, and some protein powder. I've got the recipe on my page somewhere. You mix it all up and you put it in the fridge. It makes like 4 serves and it's delicious. Like high protein, it's good for you and it's yummy. It tastes like lollies.
I love it.
That's a really good fun.
It tastes like
workout meal.
lollies.
Yeah. It tastes like lollies.
What's one meal that you can't live without?
Meal, it would have to be anything with like seafood or salmon in it.
Yeah.
My absolute favorite. I love, and I could not live without chocolate or Biscoff. I just love them.
Yeah. You and me both.
It may not be a meal, but it's my meal.
It's my meal. Thank
Salmon,
you.
In my
chocolate and
diet,
Biscoff.
100%.
Yeah.
What is one thing people tend to misunderstand about you?
I think a lot of people just seem to see like the surface kind of. I think a lot of people look at me and think, oh, she's a bit ditzy. She's really like happy and I'm not. I'm actually quite well educated. I've got a lot of qualifications in different areas completely different kind of areas. And a lot of people like will look at me straight and be like, oh, look at her. She's just like an influencer on Instagram, which was never really my aim. But yeah, so I think maybe don't judge a book by its cover too quickly.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I definitely never had that image from you.
You're a good person though.
But even just on your Instagram, you don't get that. I don't get that vibe from you.
Awesome. That's good to know.
No, you
Yeah.
definitely seem, even talking to you, you seem very well educated.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I have
Speak
had
really
a few
well.
people like message me and be like, are you really a mum? I'm like, no, I'm just lying about that.
No, I'm just lying. You caught me.
No, I'm just pretending. So yeah, don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what are we up to?
Would you- 11. Would you rather be in a calorie deficit or a calorie surplus? And
surplus.
when I say deficit, it's not like an extreme deficit,
Yeah,
but just
no.
either a deficit or a
Conservative.
surplus. Yeah.
I think my happiness at the moment is just being at maintenance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like, but not tracking. Like
Yeah.
knowing I'm at maintenance, I'm probably in a bit of a surplus. I'm not going to lie because I can feel my clothes getting a bit tighter.
Yeah.
But yeah, just being in a place where I don't need to track is probably my happiness for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'd probably say surplus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. That's
Yeah.
definitely the happiest place to be.
Yeah.
Meditation or journaling?
Neither.
None.
No.
No.
I don't really like either.
There you go.
Yeah. I'd go back to probably Reformer Pilates and use that. As
That's your
that's
mind-
my out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't sit still. Undiagnosed ADHD or something.
Oh, actually,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah, like-
that's great because
Yeah.
there's no, anyway, I'm going to stop
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah. Good girl. Proud of you for that one. One thing you do for yourself each day.
I
spoke
have,
about that.
Yeah, I have like this 20-minute shower every single day
Yeah.
before bed at night. It's just like my time. Like my morning shower is just real quick and stuff, and like my whole day is always really like cooked, like it's really fast and everything's always moving. But my nighttime shower before bed, it's like my me time. I
Love
like
it.
sit on the shelf floor.
I'll do big shit.
I definitely do. I don't do a big shit in the shower. Like, nothing weird like that. I sit on the shower floor and it's like the hot water go for me. I'm like, oh, this is heaven.
That is
yeah,
actually
yeah,
the best
it is the
feeling.
best. So
Love it.
What is one thing you're proud of?
my children.
Proudest of?
My children.
Aw.
Yeah, I am. I'm really proud of them. I think I've done a really good job as
Yeah.
a mum.
Oh,
If
I
there's
love
one thing
that.
I've done well, it's that.
Yeah.
yes.
Fucked up a lot of things in life, but not that.
Oh. Do you ever post them on your page?
No.
Never.
No. So I used to work in area of child protection, and I used to see a lot of evil behind the scenes, thing that the general population wouldn't see, and I will not put them on a public page.
Yeah.
I just post them on my private pages where it's only friends and family and people I trust on there. But no, I've got 20,000 followers. I don't know who's following me.
And there's a lot of
hit on
evil
me all the time, or like people like that send me the dirtiest shit in the DMs, and I'm like, there's no way I'd put my children on there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of evil out there,
Absolutely.
especially when it's got to do with children.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
I wouldn't risk it.
No,
Yeah,
why? No, why would you?
One thing you regret.
I wish I'd travelled more before I had kids.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Absolutely.
Have you done much travel?
I've done a bit. I've been through most of Asia, America. I lived in Egypt for 6 months. But generally speaking, like I haven't done Europe. There's a few things that I wish I had kind of done when I was younger, single, more free, probably had more disposable income.
Yeah.
But hindsight. One day I'll do it again.
Yeah. You can do it as a family.
Yeah, it's different. It's not a whole lot. I'll take them if I have to.
It's okay for
I've
themselves.
learned that from my sister. She's like, never fucking again.
Yeah.
Do it all before you have them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best piece of advice you've ever received?
Oh, this is a hard one. I think probably health is wealth. That's really, really important to remember. If you don't have your health, you don't have anything, and you don't realize how important your health is until it's taken away from you.
And it's investment, and investment, not a cost.
Absolutely. So I've got a girlfriend who's currently going through really aggressive chemo. She's got like some form of severe aggressive breast cancer, and we don't know if she's going to make it or not. And she was just like the life of the party, really like always focused on her health and stuff, and just like a really like happy person, a great mom, and a really good friend. And you don't realize how quickly
it can
can just be taken away from you. And if you don't have your health, you've literally got nothing. There is nothing else that's more important.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter how much money you've got. I mean, it might look after you a bit better, but it doesn't matter anything in the world. You know, if you don't have your health and people you really, really love around you, you don't have
got
anything.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God.
Look after
Two
your
most
health.
important things.
Absolutely.
People and health.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then that would mean we've got our last question.
Yes.
Biggest lesson you've learnt this year?
Probably to live a little more. So, like I was saying before, we went to Bali about 12 months ago, and my diet fell to shit and everything kind of went to shit, but it was kind of a good lesson to teach me, like this year I've really embraced enjoying life a bit more.
Yeah.
I was very, very rigid when dieting. I would not leave, like go out and eat or anything like that. My life revolved around my meal planning and my gym. And that's all I focused on. That's all I cared about for a very long time. And I wasn't in comp prep or anything like that. So like it didn't need to be that state. Absolutely. And now I'm just kind of slowly reintroducing things like date nights with Mark, or just going out with the kids, and like when they get a hot chocolate, I get a hot chocolate with them, or whatever it may be. And that's been a really big lesson for me this year. Is that life is also made to be lived.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And lastly, the podcast is obviously called Evolve to Thrive. How do you think people can evolve each day, or what can they implement each day to thrive in their life?
I think people just need to like take a step back sometimes and just see that there is still so much good in the world.
Yeah.
Because we're very, very, you know, you turn on the news and it's negative. You speak to your friends and everyone's got problems. And what's that old saying where if everybody put all their problems into one basket, you would grab your own ones back as quickly as possible. So just look out there, and there's so much positivity and there's so much happiness, and the grass really is greener where you water it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So everyone thinks,
I love that.
Yeah. They're like, I look at my single friends, I'm like, oh my God, you're so lucky. You can go out and do whatever you want. You're not restricted with children or husbands, like work routine or anything like that. I've constantly got like restrictions around me in that regard. But then, you know, I've got friends who are like, I would love to have your life. Like I want to be a mom. I want to be happy. I want to be settled, or whatever it may be. No one is like,
everyone always makes out to be like that. Everyone's happier than they are.
You want what you can't have, or you want what you don't have.
But there's so much good out there. Like, just go and embrace it.
Yeah.
Like, life's made to be lived. Go enjoy your life. And that's
I
how you
love that.
thrive.
Live your best life and you will
live your best life
thrive.
and don't care what anyone else thinks. If you're not hurting anyone, who cares?
Life is too short, and you never know when
Absolutely.
your time is.
Exactly. And you don't know when your health can be taken off you. So just go enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much for coming on here.
It has literally been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, we can't wait to have you back.
We definitely need you back.
Yeah.
So much to talk
guys,
about.
Anytime.
Where can the listeners find you?
I am on Instagram, one word, living well with Sez, S-E-Z. Yeah, and you can find me on there. Always a bit of fun.
Can they find, is it just on Instagram?
I'm just on Instagram. I don't really know how to use any of the other social media
No
platforms.
TikTok or
Just
anything.
IG.
Everyone keeps saying get on TikTok. I'm like, I don't know how to use it.
Yeah.
Maybe one day, but at the moment it's just Instagram.
Just
You should put
Instagram.
your recipes and stuff on there.
yeah, I should.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll find the time one day.
One day.
What do you mostly put on your Instagram page these days?
Of everything, a bit of just like living well. I do a lot of like easy recipes for families and busy mums and just like people who want to meal prep. I talk about things like focusing on the nutritional value in food rather than just like how many calories is in it and just like little bits and pieces of just happiness, really. Like quotes that mean things to me, or recipes, quotes. If I'll share on my stories lots of like things that I find interesting, or if there's something I saw today that I really liked, I'll just pop it up there.
You share a lot of people and give a lot of positive recognition to people out there. You definitely spread the love.
Oh, I hope so. It's nice. It's a nice feeling knowing that you're helping other people.
Yeah, of course.
Number one hype girl, hit her up. Living with Says.
And thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening to this week's episode. We hope this episode provided you with a lot of value that you can take away and implement into your own life moving forward. If this episode resonated with you and you feel that it would be beneficial to someone, please share it, tag us at Evolve to Thrive. And yeah, that's it.
That's
pretty much.
it.
If there's
That is
anything
a
else you want to say,
wrap.
that's a wrap. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.